Welcome to the Path to Mindset Mastery. My name is Brad Bizdeck. I'm a mindset strategist and coach, international inspirational speaker, and creator of Appreciation Academy. And today, we're going to talk about something that's so much more important than mindset. And you're going, wait, you're the mindset guy. What's more important than mindset? And that is your mindset around your physical body. And this is so powerful because what I've taught throughout the years is that you can create energy whenever you want. You can create energy whenever you want, but that energy isn't sustainable. For example, have you ever been like super tired and then you already committed to going out with your friends and you just want to sit there and watch Netflix, but you decide to go out, you end up having a good time, you end up creating the energy that you need with your friends out at that bar or that place wherever you went to, right? You created that energy. That was energy you chose to create. That was mental, psychological energy that you brought to the situation. Beautiful. Recommend continuing that. It's a great tool, and it's how we use our bodies, right? Energy is physiology. If I'm breathing a lot, if my chest is up and I'm breathing fast, I'm taking big, deep breaths, and I'm talking loud, I'm going to have more energy than if I'm talking quiet and slouching back in my chair and stuff like that. I have more energy. But there's something that's so much more important than that, and that is not having to always course correct. See, a lot of times what people do is they use personal development as a defense mechanism. Personal development as a defense mechanism, and it doesn't work because all it does is it combats negative behaviors. But what we want to do is we want to make sure and proactively use personal development, proactively program our mind, our bodies. Imagine if you didn't need to use this physical jolt of energy to feel fully alive and you just felt amazing on a regular basis. And that comes down to taking care of your physical body and the mindset and the energy behind that. So you're talking to someone right now who consistently had a very big problem with this for a long time. So what I would do is anytime anything didn't go right in my life, and I notice these triggers, whenever you do a cleanse or something, it brings out emotions within you. And I had this beautiful experience of going through a 21-day program where I lost a bunch of weight and felt fully alive and amazing. And I realized some things that I used to do when it comes to emotional eating, right? And what I would do is whenever something didn't happen in my business that I wanted, or whenever I was uncertain in my business, or whenever I didn't get a sale that day, or even in my personal life, if something happened with my parents where they criticized me in some way, or if I got off the phone with someone in my life that caused me a lot of stress, I found that I always made my way back to the kitchen. I always made my way back to the kitchen because whenever I ate something, it gave me a sense of certainty. It gave me a sense of comfort. And on top of that, I realized that I ate when I was bored. I ate when I wanted some sort of stimuli when I was bored. I would eat when I was bored. So those two things, emotional eating when things were uncertain, when things were going well, and on top of that, eating when I was bored, nighttime eating, nighttime snacking, that type of stuff is what I did all the time. All the time. Even though I would eat healthier foods, I did a lot of it. And it led to the workout programs that I did. I would work out 5-6 days a week, and my physical fitness was great, but my vitality wasn't. I didn't have the energy that I needed to sustain this mission. So please understand, and this is what I learned the hard way, that if you don't take care of your physical body, you are preventing your business from growing. And how does that make sense? Because when you don't have energy, isn't it so much harder to create the goals and the dreams? It's so much harder to put yourself out there. It's so much harder to find the mojo to do the invites. It's so much harder to put yourself on a live video. It's so much harder to do that because we don't have the energy. Because from a great state of energy, what type of creativity do you have? You have amazing creativity. I can do this podcast and I literally have 2-3 sentences written in my notes in my notebook right here. And I can talk for 10-15 minutes because I have tons and tons and tons of energy that's natural. It's not something I have to force and get back to. It's just something I have. So I encourage you to think about your body differently from now on. I'm going to give you a paradigm shift when it comes to your body. Most people think body, business, and mind are separate. I want you to think about this. Your business is an expression of whatever this body does, right? If you don't have energy, you don't do the right things to create the business. But in a great state of energy, you'll have so much courage, it won't even be funny, you'll just do the things, right? So if your business is an expression of this physical body, we need to stop lugging around this machine and start treating it right. You need to start treating it the right way to give yourself the energy to sustain the mission. If you don't have the energy to sustain your mission, you won't have your mission, you won't have your goals, you won't have your dreams. I learned this the hard way. But from changing my physical energy, I was taking a proactive approach to personal development instead of a reactive approach. I wasn't using PD to feel good. I felt good, and then on top of that, I had personal growth. And what do you think happened to my business? It exploded. Everything changed from this. So I'm curious with you, what triggers your eating? Is it a fight with your spouse? Is it that your business isn't going the way that you want it? Is it anytime you face stress? What triggers your eating? And I want you to bring awareness to this throughout this week. Let's make it conscious. Take what's unconscious and make it conscious, and just say, whenever you reach for something, just pause and ask yourself, why am I eating this right now? What's the reason for that? Because if you want to lose weight, if you want to be healthy, stop putting so much stuff in the hole in your mouth. That's all it is. It's all you have to do. Stop putting so much stuff in there and start choosing the right things. It's so much simpler than people make it out to be. It's not this big, complex, overwhelming ordeal. It can be super, super simple. But we need to stop lugging around this body. I noticed what my emotional triggers were. And that's whenever I talked to someone in my family on the phone, that caused emotional triggers, or whenever something in my business wasn't going in line with my expectations of how it should be, or anytime I was sitting around with my wife watching a movie or TV. Those three things, I noticed that's when I reach for the food. And when I reach for the food, what do you feel afterwards? You feel an immediate sense of comfort, but at the same time, you also feel guilt, don't you? You feel guilt. You feel like you're not living up with the standards of who you know in your heart you are. And when you don't live up to your own personal standards, that's the worst. That's where you just feel terrible. And from that energy, how are you going to create your dreams? You're not going to do it. So you got to be honest with yourself. In those times where you're reaching for something, in those times where you have a stressful conversation, in those times where your business isn't going the way that you want it and you reach for food, why is that? Can't we be honest for a second and just say that the reason we're doing it is because we crave a feeling of certainty, or maybe uncertainty because you like the flavor, but wouldn't you agree that most of the time when we reach for that food unnecessarily, it's because we're craving a feeling of certainty in our lives. When your business is unstable, you want to feel a sense of certainty. Well, you're certain that that food is going to taste good. You're certainly going to feel a certain way because that's how it goes. Every human being has the need for certainty, by the way. The only problem is if certainty drives your life, you will never have a fulfilling, happy life. You won't. You might get bursts of it here and there, but it's always a moving target because you always need a guarantee. And if you always need a guarantee to feel certain in some way, shape, or form, you're not going to be happy. It won't matter what happens in your life. You're not going to be happy. Everyone needs certainty. But if you prioritize it as number one, you're asking for misery. So if eating is a craving of certainty, and we do it in those stressful times to feel more comfort, more safety, more security, like we know it's going to be okay, what if we just chose a different vehicle than food? If we know that we don't want to lug this body around anymore, but instead we want it to feel vital and alive, so we have the energy to go after our biggest, scariest dreams, and instead of using PD as a defense, we use it as an offense. If we did that, what if instead we chose another vehicle for certainty? Because every human being needs certainty on some level, but they just choose different vehicles. There's negative, neutral, and positive ways to meet your needs, right? Overeating, compulsive overeating, or nighttime eating, that would be a negative way to meet your need for certainty. What would be a positive need for certainty? Reading a book, studying people that have gone before you. You're certain that you're going to feel inspired and motivated after that. Or maybe meditation, or maybe saying a prayer, or maybe going and hugging your kids. Whatever it is, there's so many ways. So my homework for you is I want you to list out, what are the negative ways that you meet your need for certainty? What are the negative ways that you meet your need for certainty? Chances are that overeating is one of those things. Chances are it's overwatching TV, right? Those would be meeting a need for certainty. But what other ways do you meet your need for certainty that are negative? And how could you switch that? What are ways that you could meet the need for certainty that are positive? And that could be reading a book, meditation, prayer, whatever it is, going for a walk, going on a hike, whatever it is. There are plenty of positive ways to meet your need for certainty too. We just need to take what's unconscious here and make it conscious. We need to bring awareness back to this. That's what we need to do. A lot of people just go through life unconscious of this. All I'm doing on this podcast is bringing conscious awareness to what your unconscious patterns are. And when you know what your unconscious patterns are, you can change your patterns. That's it. Emotional overeating and nighttime eating, all it is a pattern that you can interrupt and change. You can do that because you need to realize that you can't afford to not be healthy. I want you to start thinking in terms of what's the emotional consequence if you don't figure this out. If you don't change this, what happens to your life? And go on a tangent of writing these answers out. Don't do this in your head, it won't work, but write the answers out. What's the emotional consequence of not changing your physical body in 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road? And not just in your physical body, but how does that affect you emotionally, physically, financially, and spiritually? Because think about this. If you don't take care of your body for the next year, and you're lugging this amazing piece of equipment around that's meant to fulfill a mission, and you're just lugging it around, if you don't take care of it over the next year, what's your business going to do? It's not going to go anywhere. So financially, you're hurting as well. You're going to feel like you're letting people down in your family. You're going to wish you could contribute at a higher level, but you're not going to be able to do it because you're lugging around this amazing piece of equipment that God gave you, but you're treating it like shit. Start treating it right. And when you treat it right, you will feel revitalized. And when you feel revitalized, you will have so much more energy to give to all of your endeavors, to your kids, to your family, to your business, to your bank account. And when you have more energy to give, you're more creative, you're more uplifting, you're more inspiring, and you feel more alive. And guess what? When you feel more alive, people want to be part of you. That's what they say here. Please take my money to teach me what you're doing. It becomes easy, but it all starts with something that's so much more important than personal development, and that is your body. Your body is the source of it all. Physiology trumps it every day of the week. Your physiology is the most important piece of your mindset. So if you're trying to teach your way into feeling good, but you treat your body like shit, it's going to be a temporary solve. You have to treat your body well. And you are talking to someone right now that has struggled with this for a very long time. And frankly, still do sometimes. I get myself back into those old patterns. But I pause, and I ask myself, do I actually need this right now? What's the reason I'm reaching for this food right now? And I just take what's unconscious and make it conscious. I say, okay, I'm feeling stressed out about something that happened in my business, about my family, whatever it is. I'm going to meet that need for certainty that it's going to be okay in some other direction. And from that, energy continues. And how proud of yourself do you feel if you do that? You feel so much more proud of yourself, feel so much more alive, so much more just happy. Because you chose to do something that moves your life in a new direction and you upheld the standard you already set for yourself. And I don't know about you, but one of the most prideful feelings in life is doing what you said you were going to do. And one of the most unhappy feelings in life is when you go against what you said you were going to do. So take this and use it. You can't afford not to take care of your body. You can't afford not to switch your mindset around food. When you do this, the game changes forever. So are you willing to do that for me? Are you, not for me, are you willing to do that for you? Are you willing to do that to where you can look and see what your patterns are and choose a different vehicle for certainty? Notice what those patterns are and bring conscious awareness to them so you stop lugging this beautiful piece of equipment around that God gave you and you start using it to create change in the world. And when you do that, the game changes forever. So I hope you took a lot out of this today. In this month, just so you know, this is the last chance I'm doing it this month, I'm doing a $50 Amazon gift card giveaway. Okay, and so for anyone that puts a star rating and a written review on my podcast on iTunes, if you go to my podcast, The Path to Mindset Mastery with Brad Bizjack on iTunes, you give it a star rating and a written review, and you take a screenshot of both of those things, and you send that to me at brad@bradbizjack.com. You get entered into a raffle to win a $50 Amazon gift card. It takes 5 minutes of your time or less. And just something fun I'm doing to spread the word to more people. The more star ratings we have on here, the more written reviews we have on here, the more people's lives change. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you took so much away from this. Hope that you realize, oh my gosh, yeah, my body is so much more important and my mind is what will make that body great. It's all in your mind, but the physical body is so important and you need to prioritize that. Instead of using PD as defense, start using it as offense. So I hope you take a lot away from this. Thank you so much for tuning into the Path to Mindset Mastery. My name is Brad Bizjack. Go out there today and every day and live your life with a genuine smile on your face. And when you do, it's so easy to create the body that you've always wanted. I'll see you next week.